Hi, Tom from buildcoaching.co.uk. In this video, I want to talk about group coaching, specifically group coaching for online fitness coaches. So this isn't going to be group coaching in, say, a gym environment. Over the years, I've done various coaching programs such as Target Lean, Target Gain, and also my Build program. I've delivered all of those in a group coaching environment, and I've also been on a number of group coaching programs myself as a student to learn how to be a better coach, how to improve my business, and so on. So I've been on both sides of the playing field, so to speak. And so today I want to bring some of that experience into this video to hopefully teach you some things about building a successful group program for yourself. First, let's talk about some of the frustrations that online coaches can face when they're delivering group programs or launching group programs. Now, one of these is going to be that people don't see the value in their group program versus one-to-one program. They often see it as a watered down version of the one-to-one program. And unless you are being very specific about what your program does and who it's for and the very specific problem it's going to help solve, that's how people will view it. So what we don't want to do is people to see it as a watered down version of our one-to-one program and actually see some value in what you're delivering as a different product from your one-to-one program. The next problem with group programs is that sometimes the clients that come onto those programs can vary massively. So you might get people who are different age groups, different demographics, different beliefs, different training, experience, different goal outcomes such as losing weight, gaining muscle, that sort of thing. So it's very important to make sure that your program is not just very general, and we want to make it very specific. If you're going to launch a group program, don't say this program does everything for everybody, because you'll find that incredibly hard to deliver and people won't get the value they want, and ultimately that means your group program won't do very well. Then when you actually get people onto your program, what you tend to find is that you'll always get a lot of people who come on and never do the work, which can be incredibly frustrating for you, especially if them getting the result is dependent on them doing all the work, because things don't just fall out magically and happen, do they? They have to put the work in to get the result out. And if they're not doing the work, if they're not putting the work in, they're not going to get the result they want. And then who are they going to blame? They're probably going to blame you, because it's your program. So we want to make sure that clients do the work, and we don't want them to fall by the wayside, which can happen a lot. And especially on massive intake programs, you'll get about 1,000, 2,000 people come in, and only a very small percentage of those people actually get the job done, actually get the results. And those are the ones you see on Instagram. The rest fail, and as a result, your program is a failure. So you don't want it to be a failure, you want it to be a success. Sometimes you'll also find that people want a one-to-one service for a group price. Now, this can be very common. People thinking, oh, I'm going to join their group program and I'm going to get all the one-to-one stuff that they would have done normally. And if you're not careful, you'll fall into the trap of delivering a one-to-one service for the group price. And that can become very downheartening for you or very disheartening for you. And what you'll find is that then your one-to-one people who potentially pay more money are going to go, hold on, why am I paying the money for this when I can get it on the group program? So potentially shooting yourself in the foot for your one-to-one clients as well. So you want to be very, very clear about what you're offering, that it's not a one-to-one program, it's a group program, and here's what is in the group program. It's not a one-to-one service. So with that in mind, what do we want from our group program? Well, first of all, we want it to solve a specific problem. We don't want to try and solve a million problems all at once. We want to be very clear about this program is for this person who has this problem. If we're not clear about that, what that's going to mean is further down the line, you're going to get people inquiring to join who really aren't a good fit for you. You're going to waste time talking to those people, or they're going to sign up and then discover it's not the best program for them, potentially request a refund. So we want to make sure that we're being very specific from the outset about what our program does, who it helps, and what problem it solves for those people. Typically, we're going to want a short time period in order to maintain momentum. Now, this is really important. Now, group programming in terms of a long-term group program, such as one of the business programs that I've been on and still am on, that's going to be a long-term solution, because you're looking at long-term change over your business. Generally, what we're looking at in terms of building a group program is a very short-term thing, say 6, 8, or maybe 12 weeks, where we're going to deliver this solution to this problem. But we also then want to think about those people who have almost kick-started their journey with us to then join us for a longer-term coaching program. Now, that's not what I'm going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is the initial kick-starting to get people into your coaching, to almost get a sample of what you do as a coach, to get a result which then they can develop further in your long-term coaching. So like I just said, we don't want to have a full solution here. We're not delivering in 6 weeks this is going to change your life package. There's so many programs offer that. So in 6 weeks you're going to have this magical result which is unattainable. And also, well, you'll know what it's like. You see these programs that say you're going to drop this much weight in this much time, or you're going to have this result or this result. Often that's done through extreme measures. And if you're the sort of coach that I hope you are, you're not the sort of person that takes the money and run, delivers the short-term measures to get the quick results, and then afterwards the clients are left to fend for their own devices and normally gain all the weight back again, which is unfortunately how I would say a lot of the group coaching programs on the internet work. So what we're looking at here is to give them a kickstart, to get them a result, get them something they can say, yeah, I've achieved something. But the ultimate aim here is not to say give them a quick result and then run away so they gain all the weight back again. The idea is to get them a result which they can then continue with your group coaching program or go into your one-to-one coaching program. So we want it to be a nice kickstarter for them to get some motivation, to get some confidence, and then we can talk about a longer term solution afterwards. What we want to see long term from our group coaching program is that we want to have clients going into our longer term coaching. Now, our group program is going to be the initial kickstart, the 6, 8 or 12 week program. But what we really want is for those clients who come in is to continue with us for say 6 months to 9 months, because we know as coaches they're going to get the best results over time. So the initial coaching program is going to be the kickstart, and then we want to have some way of transitioning them very smoothly from, right, you've done this, now let's see how we're going to continue this great work you've done to get even better results. So there needs to be a long-term vision there, and not just, oh, it's 6 weeks, right, bye, see you later. You're doing yourself out of money and you're doing the client out of a long-term success there. And let's get on to the mistakes that coaches make when they're delivering a group coaching program. And the first is that they're providing a one-to-one service for a group price. We don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be saying, yeah, come onto my group program, and then we're doing specific workout building for them, or we're creating a diet plan specifically for them, or we're having one-to-one calls with them and outside of the group environment. That's a one-to-one service which you want to make sure is reserved for your one-to-one clients. Group coaching is as it sounds. We don't want to give them anything which is specific where you're working with them one-to-one on their program, their training, or with like one-to-one advice. That's not what they've paid for, and that's not what you're providing as a service. So don't fall into that trap of, yeah, come on, let's just have a one-to-one call to discuss it. You'll fall into a trap, and it's very, very downward spiral there where all your clients on your group program will get that, and you'll end up tying yourself up massively with time that you haven't got for a price that they haven't paid. Another mistake that coaches make, and this is something that they make themselves and not the client, is that they offer their group coaching program as a cheap version of their one-to-one program. And that's how they see it. They just see as people, oh, you can't afford my one-to-one program? Okay, great. Just come onto my group program instead. And what that does is it cheapens your group program in your eyes, but also the eyes of your client. Because you're going to be saying to them, oh, do you want to come onto my one-to-one program? No, I can't afford that. Oh, I've got this group program that you can afford. Okay, but what then? Does that mean the one-to-one program wasn't the value that you said it was? And then you've got to backtrack and you go, oh, no, talk yourself out of a hole there. So what you want to make sure is the group program is standalone. It's not the cheap, watered down version of your one-to-one coaching. And that's why we have a specific goal over a short-term period, because we want to make sure we distinguish our group program from our one-to-one program, and it's not just the second best option. Another mistake I see coaches doing with their group programs is that they're trying to solve too many problems. They're trying to do too many things for too many people. We want to keep it specific as possible. We want to solve one major problem for people. Is it weight loss? Is it gaining muscle? Is it getting ready for a triathlon? Is it running a 5K? What's the big problem you're looking to solve? And then just go all in into solving that problem for that person within those 6, 8 or 12 weeks. Don't think you have to do a million different things, because people normally only want to do one thing. They want to focus on one thing, and you'll find that the energy is better, your focus is better, and that your workload is going to be down massively. Try and do too many things, what happens is you do none of them, and then you've got a really rubbish program that doesn't deliver, and people won't want to recommend to their friends. Now here's a very important one. Don't make your program too long. Don't make it 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. A group program needs to be more short and sweet and condensed to focus people's motivation. If you're going to try and do something in a group program over 6 months, you're going to find it incredibly hard to keep that motivation going for that time. You're going to get lots of people dropping off. You're going to get things that you can't do, can't deliver. And if they paid up front at the beginning, you've then got to probably run another couple of group programs in the meantime in order to supplement your income. And that's going to divert your attention away. So keep it short and sweet, 6, 8, maximum 12 weeks for a program. Get in, get the job done, deliver the result, and then run it again. Don't give your clients too much stuff to do. It's very common for coaches to say, right, well, if you want to get this result, what you've got to do is track this and do this and log this and log this. What's going to happen is the client's going to look at that, especially if they're new to coaching in any way and they haven't used an app before and they haven't done all these things before. They're going to look at all this list of things to do and go, I'm not going to do that. That's too much stuff. I'm getting confused. And then they're going to drop out your program. They're not going to do the things. They're not going to get the results. And as a result, you're not going to feel very good about your program because people aren't getting results. They're not giving you testimonials and they're not telling their friends what a good coach you are. You can stop all of that by just making sure there's only 1 or 2 things to do a day, and they're very simple things. And if there are things that are essential to get done, make sure you simplify those things right down as much as possible and actually have a look and say, do these things need to be done for that person to get the result? If they really don't, then don't give it to them to do, because they most likely won't do it. If you find it hard to think about, they're going to find it hard to think about. So make sure things are simple and there's not a lot of stuff to do. And the final mistake that happens a lot is there's no follow-on plan. Coaches deliver this 6-week program and at the end, it's like, okay, thanks for that, see you later. And the clients might even ask, okay, what can I do? I've finished my 6 weeks, I want to do more, what can I do? And a lot of coaches are like, well, I don't have anything because it's a 6-week program, so an 8-week program. You must have in mind something that your clients can move into, some sort of transition, some natural transition that you can set up towards like the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, talking about that transition, about what they've done, the results they've had, and making sure they can continue those results forward into the future. If you've got no follow-on plan for your 6-week program, people might do it and go, yeah, that was great, but afterwards I just fell straight off the wagon. What they're going to think about is what they ended up as, not as what they were on your program. And they might not want to join again. They might not want to use you as a coach again. So make sure you've got a follow-on plan, something that they can transition into naturally in order to get better results than what they've got on your program. If you've delivered a good program for them and they're happy with the results, they're highly likely to want to continue that moving forward, providing that the price is right, etc., etc. But you can make sure that you've got that in their minds by making sure you've got this transitional program or coaching program they can go into afterwards. What I want you to think about with your group program is that it's like the Avengers assembling together. And what I mean by that is that although the Avengers all have their own little movies and subplots and everything else, in the Avengers movies, they all come together to fight a common foe. There's one outcome here. That's the villain. Let's go and get that person. They're forgetting about their little side quest for the time being, and all they're thinking about doing is defeating this one villain or this one baddie. And that's what we want to think about with the group program. Yeah, they might have other things they want to do. They might want to run 5K. They might want to, lift 100 kilos. But for the moment, all they're thinking about is building some muscle or losing body fat or whatever your program is on about. We want them to really focus on that goal as a main outcome, and then what we can do potentially in their transition into their one-to-one coaching afterwards or other coaching got planned afterwards, we can go into what their little subplots and sub-movies are. But for the moment, we want them all to focus on that one goal. You'll find that motivation is better, everyone gets involved, and you'll find that they're more likely to achieve that goal rather than focusing on all these other little things that they've got to do as well. So with all that in mind, there's 4 key elements of building a group program that you need to be aware of. We've got who, what, how, and when. Now, the who is going to be who the program's for. So if this is going to be your niche, so I've got some other trainings on how to identify a niche, other videos on how to do that. But you want to make sure that you're very clear who your program is for. Is it for 30-year-old males who like to lift and want to build muscle? Because when you've got that very specific outcome in mind, it makes it a lot easier to build your program. So we start with the who. We start with who this person is for. Now there's 3 ways you can determine who the right person for your coaching is. And the 3 ways are: do you like working with that sort of person? Can you get them a really good result? And can they afford your coaching? Now, when you think about that, we've got to like who we work with, because if you don't, there's going to be no rapport. I always gauge my coaching on, could I go and have a beer with this person or a coffee with this person for about an hour and chat about stuff that wasn't, say, business related, something that wasn't coaching related? Could I have a quick chat with that person and enjoy my time? If I couldn't have a quick chat with that person, I think, well, what they're going to be like to work with in a business environment, it's going to be tough. We've got to have rapport with that person. So make sure they're your people you like to work with. And secondly, make sure you can get them the result. That's kind of important. You want to make sure that if you're saying, I can get 30 kilos off you, which you might not be able to do in like 6 weeks, but if you are saying I can get weight off you, I'm a weight loss expert, make sure you know how to drop weight off people and you are an expert in that field. If you are telling them you're going to help them build more muscle, make sure you've got some experience doing that, and you're not just an absolute weed yourself. It's really, really important that you can deliver what you're saying you can deliver. And then thirdly, the price. There is no point building a program which is going to deliver this incredible result for people you really like to work with if they cannot afford to pay for your program. Now, I know there's people who say, yeah, everyone can afford everyone, they can just whip out a credit card. Okay, fine, that is something you could do potentially, but it's up to you if you want to live with people getting themselves into massive debt paying for your program. That's entirely on you. Me, I like to work with people who can comfortably afford to invest in my coaching, so they're not thinking about their finances while they're trying to get a really good result with me. Okay, so those are 3 things you want to look out for. Okay, so once you've got your niche as to who you're going to work with, they can afford it, you like them, and you can get them results, then we've got to think about what we're going to do for them. So what is the thing that you're going to transform in their life or help them transform their life over those 6 to 8 weeks? Now, there's an easy way to do this, and I've got a sheet that you can download called the 100 Problems. It's in my content factory. You can get it from billcoaching.co.uk/factory. It's a very basic worksheet. You put your niche in, and then you work through 100 problems that those people have. Now, what you'll find is that it sounds a lot, 100 problems, but actually once you get started, it's very easy to get those 100 problems out. And when you've got those 100 problems, there's going to be some commonalities between all of those things. There's going to be things talking about nutrition or training or habits or motivation. There's going to be some commonalities. And from that, you can then pull out some major problem that your niche or ideal customer is facing, which you can then help them solve. So, for example, on one of my build programs, all we did for that 8 weeks, I think it was we focused on building as much muscle as possible. We didn't care about fat loss. We didn't care about building great habits and this, that, the other. It's like, right, here's some awesome workouts, here's nutrition to help you build muscle, and here is some meetings we can discuss the best ways to train and everything else. And those people came on the program, all they cared about was getting bigger, more muscle, stronger, and that's all we did in that program. Some of them lost weight as a side effect of that. Some of them built better habits as a side effect. But all we did was focus on building muscle. And that's the result that they got. They got other things as well, but the main result was the one I promised them. They would build more muscle in 8 weeks, and that's exactly what they got. So make sure you're thinking about the promise, something you're going to deliver to these people, rather than saying, yeah, it's some group coaching, yeah, it will help you improve your life. Very woolly. Get right into it. Get right into the teeth of it, the meat of it, and tell them exactly what you're going to do for them. Okay, so now you've got the problem that you're going to help with them and what you're going to deliver to them. Then we've got to think about why haven't they got that problem? Why haven't they got that result before? What's stopping them? What's holding them back? So we talk about the how we're going to deliver that. And that's in 3 stages. So what we're going to talk about there is the thing we're going to give them things to stop doing. So that's a to stop list. Okay, so say if we're looking at a weight loss person, yeah, one of the things they need to stop is smashing their face full of snacks in the evening, which is a really common thing that people do. They're really good in the day, they get to the evening, smash loads of snacks in. It's a really common problem I have with a lot of my clients. So what are the things we're going to get them to stop doing? Yeah? And then what are the things we're going to get them to start doing? Well, this is the to-do list. We've got this to-stop list, and now we've got the to-do list. So what we're going to stop them doing, and now what are the new habits we're going to get them doing, okay? And then the crucial thing here is how we're going to get them to do those things. Because it's all right to say, hey, calorie deficit, eat less, move more, lift some weights, it's easy. Yeah, okay. How am I going to do that? So we're going to make sure we've got implementation. Sorry for my rubbish writing there. So to stop, to do, implementation. And the implementation thing, that's the really important thing. That's your coaching. Okay, so now you know who and what you're going to deliver. You've got an idea about how you're going to do that and what you're going to get them to be doing. Then we've got to think about when. What are we doing? When are we going to program these things? The marketing, the build up, how we're going to timetable your coaching program. So the when is going to be, say it's a 6-week program, that's part of the when, but we're going to say, right, in week 1 we're going to do this, in week 2 we're going to do this, in week 3 we're going to do this. Remember, don't do too much stuff all at once. And then we're going to have the build up. So we're going to say, right, there's 6 weeks worth of program. What are we doing in the 4 weeks before that program in order to build up so that people actually buy the program? Because there's no point going, hey, my program's open, buy it, we start on Monday, if people don't know about it and they haven't even been intrigued by what you're selling, or they don't even know anything about it. So you've got to have that build up. So we're going to do the build up as well, and then we've got the afterwards. So this is going to be the transition. So what we're going to do is think about, okay, so once they've done the program, they've got really good results, what's the natural transition? So what we're going to offer towards the end to bring them into our one-to-one or actually our long-term group coaching model. So what we're going to do then at the end. And in this, the first section here, this 6 weeks, we're going to be thinking about when we're going to program in, maybe sending out some emails every day or every couple of days. What events are you going to have in your coaching program? So you're going to have like Monday night lives. Are you going to have like drop-in sessions that people can come to if they need to discuss a problem? Do you have a Facebook group? All this sort of stuff. So if you're going to do events inside your group, that's what you put into when as well. So with all that in mind, you should have an idea now about how you can start to build your own coaching program and what you're going to potentially put into it. So a few things to remember about your group coaching program is that it's a common goal and there are no side quests. So we're not talking about the Black Widow prequel, we're talking about Avengers Assemble. Yeah. Also, it's not a cheap version of your one-to-one. It's a standalone product. People are going to identify that this product, this group product, solves this specific problem. It's not your one-to-one coaching, and be very clear about that. It helps people see the value in the group program, and it also helps reinforce the value of your one-to-one program, which is still going to be a higher priced, more elite program that people can go on to if they've enjoyed your group coaching. And also, this group program is going to be a search and destroy mission. It's not going to be a siege. And what I mean by that is we're not going to have 6 months of group coaching program to try and accomplish this one goal. We're going to get in, get out, and make sure we get the job done within the 6, 8, and 12 weeks. Now, if you want to transition into a longer campaign, for example, that's brilliant. We can do that. We can do that with our longer term coaching model. But the group coaching should be a very short and highly motivated 6, 8, or 12-week program. So I hope that's given you a little bit of ideas, a bit of help into your own group program, thinking about your own group program. If you would like to come and get some one-to-one in-person help with building your group program, I am running a small workshop. It's on the 13th of July 2023. So if you're watching this video after that, it's gone already. But there's going to be another one coming up in the future, I'm sure. 9 a.m. till 4 a.m. and it's in Bristol. It's at the Ministry of Fitness, which is my gym. So feel free, if you want to inquire about that, to drop me a message. And I hope to see you there and give you some help in your group program in person. If not, and you're just watching this on the internet, I hope that some of that information is helpful. Feel free to drop me a message and I'll respond if I can to help you. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time as always, and have a great day.